Hi, David Odell here with Odell Complete Concrete. This is part 3 of a 5-part series. This is going to be our second pour, and we're just kind of buttoning this up. We poured this area that you can see here right near us the day before we got here to button this up for the next pour. Basically, we're going to have a step all the way across here, wall to wall, and we're going to do a bull nose. So we have, first we're going to set a 2x6 backer, and that's going to secure the foam from bending and warping, and then we'll attach the foam to that 2x6, and that'll create our bull nose. You'll see that in a minute here. I just have some steel flat stakes. We're going to drive a couple 6-penny duplex in there. Here's the styrofoam that creates the bull nose, and we'll attach that to the inside face of that 2x6. And then when the concrete's placed in there, we strip the foam, the wood all at once, and then we just finish it out, and then we can stamp that bull nose and underneath there, underneath that bull nose as well. What we have to do to get underneath that bull nose to put a stamp texture on is we have to cut an old mat at about 2 inches or 2.5 inch wide strip that'll fit under there. Then you just tap it in with the edge of a 2x4. Then on your bull nose itself, you just kind of get a hand mat and roll it around there, and that'll give you texture on that. You could go smooth. You could go ahead and cut yourself a band 10 or 12 inches back and go smooth bull nose and a smooth 1-foot band, but that's a step, so you probably don't really want smooth right there. You kind of want a non-slip. So we've got these drains centered on the big area, and then I thought, well, we'll just continue it through for another area drain right at the garage door, because the water used to flow through the garage door to get to the street. It's a nice way to clean your garage out, though. You just don't want anything sitting on the ground. Then we put some dowels here and there. We did the garage floor. That's another video we did. Since it's a 2x6 and the styrofoam is 6 inches, you can see that foam is set a little high on that, which is okay. It'll still work fine. Come to find out, we got this all set up, and then we had a change order come in on this last minute, and we're not going with the bull nose now. So fortunately, the little half radius they cut out there for to create that bull nose, that comes with the foam. So I was able to scavenge that out of the trash can, and I just 3M spray glued that little piece back in there, and then duct taped it. Now we have a straight step. But the change order was we're going to put brick bull nose on here. That whole face is going to be brick now, and that'll be another video. So it's going to work out really good. The videos just are coming along really beautifully. Oh, by the way, we have the winner for that DeWalt reciprocating saw. And let me check my notes here. Who was? Oh, it's Mike Harris. Mike Harris is the winner of the reciprocating saw. So you can contact me however you want, and then DeWalt will mail it out. There's the 4-foot magnesium bull float with the rocker arm. We're just going to kind of roundabout rod this right off the drain, so everything drains towards it. I actually have the drain grates in the pipe right now. I just taped them off so the concrete wouldn't go down in the pipe, because then you'd have a clogged pipe. Now this is the same color. Since we did a 2 pour on this job and it's dune, from Davis, Integral, 3000 psi with fiber mesh, my own fiber mesh that I keep in stock. We had to match the previous pour, so we stuck with the same concrete company. The pour was 2 days apart. The slump was identical, 4-inch on both pours. When it's all said and done, technically it should dry exactly the same. But concrete is not a perfect science. Well, we're going to see what happens in the end. There's that 6-foot Milwaukee red stick. Really tightening it up. This is how you really cut it on the money. When you're dealing with pea gravel, you really got to double cut them to get them right. Even though we don't have a bull nose on this, we're going to still strip and face it. I'm running the fiberglass knee boards. They give you a little more traction, plus they're a little bit wider, so it keeps you up off the concrete a little bit better without sinking. There's the 20 by 5, one side rounded, Marshalltown. On all these joints, even though we hand jointed them today, I will crack chase them with, I'll cut them a little deeper. In other words, when I come back here to do the cleanup, I'll drop in my one of my saws, diamond blade saws, to give it a little more depth on either end to assure the cracking in that location. Right now is a good time to pull that cover out of there and clean it up. Right here I've already put the existing vinyl panel back up. Now we're just edging against the concrete I just poured a couple days ago, which is also the color stamp. That's my brother Doug right there, running the hand edger, 1/2 inch, 6-inch wide. This concrete's about ready to stamp right now. It really went off quickly on this top landing here. Just sprayed it with the clear liquid release, bubblegum scented, so it's very pleasant to work with. And since we're not using a secondary powder color release, we don't have to wear a dust mask. Here's your final pass on the lower section. So the whole front of this step's going to get one brick turned sideways at the bottom, and then we're going to get a 9-inch bullnose brick cantilevering over that bottom brick. And the selection of these bricks, there's actually going to be 3 different colors involved in the brick, because they wanted the step to really pop, you know, for visitors and stuff. You could actually really see it really well. So in other words, it wouldn't be a trip hazard. That was the whole idea behind it. The change at last minute. This is a Belgium Slate seamless texture mat. It's about a medium texture. If you want a light one, you go with something like Italian Slate. If you want heavier texture and still seamless, then you would go with an old granite. There's a bunch more in between all of those, but that's the high end, low end, and this is your medium. And there's your finished product. It's going to lighten up a lot because it is dune, so it's a grayish brown color. But we're going to show that in this series, the finished product, after we seal. And we're going to show the brick completion too. When you're stamping, you notice how I have a specific pattern as I'm stamping. I just that way you don't miss. You just don't randomly start hitting a mat, and because you don't want to hit the same spot twice, and you also don't want to miss a spot. So you got to be really consistent when you're hitting a mat. Oh, here's what I was talking about on the saw cutting. I'm going to saw cut the bottom of this step because that seems like steps always crack at the bottom because there's a transition. You can see it goes from very thick to thin. It goes from 6 inches to 4 inches right there. So that's why it cracks there all the time. That's why it's nice to have rebar continuous through that, which we do. But it still wants to crack there, so we're going to control the cracking and try to keep it in a straight line. Then the brick will sit over the top of this eventually, so you won't see it anyway. This particular tool worked out beautifully for this. It's a 9-inch blade, and it's battery powered by Milwaukee. I like cutting rebar with this tool also, with a carborundum blade. Cuts it quickly. Since I had this tool out on all the joints on all this job, I actually went really deep on either end of all the joints. Also, what that does is the water runs out of the joint quickly that way. So whenever you have water setting in joints, it's going to stain, especially color concrete. Because like I said, mineral deposits are light color when they dry, and concrete's dark, so they show up. It's like a sore thumb. So you want minimal joints, and if you do have joints, you gotta keep them small, keep them tight, make sure they flow right. Brick goes on the front of that, one underneath, and a cantilever bowl on top. It's going to be all dark iron spot and a couple other iron, maybe a medium iron spot, and I think she wants a gray in there as well, something. But that's coming. Look at the difference between just 2 days, how light this one's got on the second pour. But the true test is in about 2 to 3 weeks. See if they match up. We're going to show all that in the next video, because this is just part 3 of a 5-part series. We're going to show the whole vinyl build, the whole works here throughout this series. Anyway, thank you for watching and stay tuned. Have a good one. Bye.